The Rhine runs dark and slow through the ruins of Cologne, its banks lined with shattered stone and twisted steel. Smoke hangs low over the city, drifting from fires that have burned 4 days. In the grey winter light, the cathedral still stands, scarred but upright, rising above the wreckage like a marker of endurance amid collapse. Moored along the river is the German heavy cruiser KTL. She sits low in the water, her hull already damaged from earlier air attacks. Her engines are silent, her anti-aircraft guns are manned. Though no longer fully operational, she remains a symbol of German naval power: steel, armor, and guns meant to survive punishment from the air. Far above the city, beyond sight and sound, aircraft are already inbound. They are not what German gunners expect. The de Havilland Mosquito was never meant to fight ships like this. When it first appeared, it was dismissed by critics on both sides as a gamble bordering on folly. A combat aircraft built largely of wood spruce, birch, plywood glued together instead of riveted. No defensive gun turrets. A crew of 2, thin skin, high speed. Many called it fragile, some called it suicidal. They were wrong. The Mosquito was conceived before the war, in a Britain that still remembered the shortages of the First World War. Aluminum was scarce, skilled labor was limited. Geoffrey de Havilland proposed an aircraft that could be built quickly, quietly, and in large numbers by furniture makers and piano factories as easily as by aircraft plants. Speed, he argued, would replace armor. Accuracy would replace volume. The Air Ministry was skeptical. So were many RAF officers. Bombers, they believed, survived through formation flying and defensive firepower. A fast, unarmed aircraft seemed an invitation to disaster. Yet by the time war came, the Mosquito proved something few designs ever have. It could outrun most fighters. It could carry a bomb load comparable to much larger aircraft. It could fly low, fast, and precisely, striking targets thought unreachable. By 1945, it had become one of the most versatile aircraft of the war. Over Germany, Mosquito squadrons now operate with near impunity, flying daylight precision raids at altitudes and speeds that challenge interception. They strike rail yards, bridges, command centers, and ships trapped inland. KTL is one of those ships. Once a modern cruiser, she has been reduced to a floating battery, unable to escape upriver or down. Repeated attacks have damaged her propulsion. Repairs are impossible under constant air threat. Her crew remains at their stations, knowing the river has become a trap. On the morning of January 15th, RAF Mosquitoes approach Cologne low altitude. Following the river itself, their engines produce a sharp, unfamiliar sound, higher pitched than heavy bombers, closer, faster. By the time German gunners spot them, the aircraft are already in their attack run. They do not circle. They do not hesitate. Flying barely above rooftop height, the Mosquito crews line up their targets visually. Each aircraft carries a heavy bomb, released with precision measured in seconds and yards, not miles. Anti-aircraft fire erupts from the river banks and from KTL herself. Tracers stitching the air. The Mosquitoes do not slow. Bombs fall. Explosions rip through the cruiser's hull. Water floods compartments already weakened by earlier damage. Fires break out below deck. The ship lists heavily. Within hours, KTL settles onto the riverbed, her superstructure still visible above the waterline. She will never sail again. In the aftermath, reports describe the attack as another bombing raid. Some later accounts exaggerate the ship's status, calling her a battleship rather than a cruiser. But the reality remains striking enough. A wooden aircraft, once mocked as inadequate for war, has delivered a decisive blow against a capital warship-sized target. Deep inside Germany, in daylight, the Mosquito did not survive because it was strong. It survived because it was fast, precise, and used without hesitation. Across the war, that same aircraft carried out similar missions, crippling U-boat pens, destroying Gestapo headquarters, striking prison walls to free captives, hunting ships along the Norwegian coast. Again and again, it proved that assumptions about air combat were outdated. By the time the war ends, the Mosquito has flown in nearly every role imaginable: bomber, fighter, reconnaissance, aircraft, pathfinder, maritime strike platform. Its wooden frame never stopped it. It made it possible.